I did not know that.
Thanks for stopping by I Did Not Know That Classic TV Edition. Please like and subscribe.
Why would I want to do that?
Because YouTube likes are what help videos show up in YouTube search results. It helps out the channel. You can also check out all the other I Did Not Know That episodes.
Groovy.
Thomas Wolfe said, "You can't go home again," which meant that once you've left home and did some living, that when you return so much will have changed, it's just not the same place anymore. Andy Griffith left the original Andy Griffith Show in 1968. He attempted a new dramatic series called Headmaster in 1970.
Friday puts us together with Andy Griffith, our new headmaster.
We're going to try and deal with many of the situations that young people come up against these days. We're on every Friday night on CBS.
But by January 1971, it was done. He didn't waste time. And in that same month, the new Andy Griffith Show made its debut. Shockingly, it was gone only 4 months later in May of 1971. After hunting down some episodes and watching the show, it's pretty easy to see why it failed. Andy Griffith once said that it was only years later that he understood that it was Mayberry itself that was the biggest star of all on the show. People made a connection with this idyllic little town and wanted to go back and visit it over and over again. Even when such popular characters like Andy, Opie, Barney, or Floyd were no longer on the show, the ratings were still strong. But the town of Mayberry was nowhere to be found in the new Andy Griffith Show. And his name was no longer Andy Taylor, but Andy Sawyer. But here comes the strange part. Goober, Emmett, and even Barney are in the pilot episode, which is very confusing since they are the very same characters from Mayberry, but somehow Andy is not. He is Andy Sawyer, and they know him as intimately as they do Andy Taylor. Barney even calls Andy Ange a few times. Let's look at a clip.
Oh.
Surprise! Surprise! Andy! Why, Goober! Emmett!
Well, this is a surprise. Look at you. You remember my wife, Lee? Yeah. These are our children, Lori and TJ, Goober, Emmett. This is Lee's sister, Nora. She was living with us in Raleigh, and she'll be living with us here. Hey, Miss Nora. Surprised you, didn't we?
It's a very dangerous thing to do, you know. Surprises can give people heart failure.
Why, you son of a gun.
You son of a gun yourself.
Now you're a son of a gun.
Yeah, how you doing?
I declare, how did you know I was here?
Are you kidding? I read about it in a Raleigh newspaper.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was in a column about show business.
Show business?
Yeah, it said you were going to be the acting mayor. I just made that up.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, let's sit down.
Yeah.
Listen, can you stay for Sunday dinner? We'd love to have.
Oh, well, I'd like to, Nance, but I really ain't got too much time. Hey, I come here to talk to you about some business.
Business?
Yeah. Now, Ange, in your official capacity as mayor, you're in a position to help me.
I am. Well, who says so?
I say so.
We got a right to talk to the mayor. I was senior mayor of the city council.
Well, I was here first. I got my
Hold it. If you want to continue this discussion, we can do it tomorrow morning in my office. But right now, I want you all to go home so I can spend the rest of Sunday with my family. Now go on.
So how can this bizarro world be explained? It was really an episode of The Twilight Zone. Andy's in the witness protection program. Andy hypnotized everyone. So the question is, why have Griffith play a guy named Andy Sawyer and then bring in Mayberry characters? It's a head scratcher and hard to figure. To make it even more confusing, all these Mayberry characters that show up in the premiere episode then vanished and are never seen again on the new Andy Griffith Show. I only wish that the perpetually angry Helen Crump had been one of the Mayberry residents who stumbled into this alternate reality with Lee Merriweather as Andy's wife. It seemed like she was always getting ticked off at Andy about something. Seeing him with a new wife and kids, we would have seen some real fireworks.
What are you...
So, to top off the strangeness of it all, Mayberry RFD, the spin-off show from the Andy Griffith Show, was still on the air when the new Andy Griffith Show premiered. So it really was almost an alternate universe kind of thing. After I watched the first episode, I was left with the feeling of, what did I just see? Which is probably how the viewers back then also felt. My wife said it made her brain hurt. After watching a couple more episodes, while it was clear that the show was trying to capture the feel of Mayberry with all its quirky small-town residents, it didn't succeed. They even brought in Glenn Campbell to help out. So what was the thinking behind bringing in Mayberry characters who clearly had such deep relationships with Andy Sawyer? Ratings probably, but, and this is just a guess, since Mayberry RFD was ending that spring, I wonder if they had the idea of maybe just eventually transplanting a lot of the old characters onto the new show. If that really was the case, I think it would have been just better for Andy to return as sheriff on Mayberry RFD and then phase out Ken Barry as the show's lead. Regardless, even that may not have worked because in 1971, CBS did something that is now referred to as the Rural Purge. They decided to dump all their wonderful and often highly rated family shows in favor of what they considered more sophisticated programming. So regardless of how good the new Andy Griffith Show could have been, times had changed, and like Thomas Wolfe said, you really can't go home again.
Is it over?
Yeah, it's over, and I hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane. It's a lot of fun looking back at these classic shows. Thanks for stopping by.